Together we'll conquer, no limits apply. Eclipse rising, shining so bright. With delusion leading, we'll conquer the night. Together we stand, in battles we fight. In M.Beatmaker, our future is right.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Delusions, and today we are starting off something new called Core and Coffee. And this is going to be something that I would like to transition into potentially a live stream at some point, but it is something that I've been playing around with and thinking about for a while, and how to get a lot of the questions that you guys have answered, as well as being able to kind of get myself involved with you guys a little bit more for those that would like to tune in. Because as you all know, I'm here to support you all. And what better way to do that than to go over some of the game mechanics, as well as some of the things that you may be struggling with on a day-to-day basis within the game. With that, I have just now redone the YouTube a little bit, gave it a bit of a facelift, so I'm starting to figure out how to work a lot of this a little bit better. We do now have access on the channel to giving out super likes and thanks and chats and stuff like that. If you feel that that is something that you would like to contribute to, by all means, please do. If you do, I would be extremely, extremely grateful, as it all goes back into supporting the channel. But please don't feel pressured into doing that. It is just another thing that I'm playing around with. But with that, let's go ahead and dive into some of this gameplay that you've been watching in the background. We are in the Demon Ruler raid right now, and we are fighting tooth and nail to keep one of these top 3 spots. So this is how we are going to be trying to stay competitive, with it only being myself as well as Porter being our top damage dealers in our core this season. We are looking to change that for next time, but as you can see, I am trying to prioritize where I know that I will be able to get the most damage in, and trying to set that bar pretty high. And when I say pretty high, I try to not leave any boss anymore without at least 10 trillion damage. And the reason behind that is because if I can hit that mark, that frees me up a little bit of time to go and try to tackle some of these other bosses. Now, will I be able to hold that consistently the entire time? Chances are probably not, because I don't know if everybody has noticed the big trend that's been going on right now, but ever since Core was released, there has been an uptick in everyone wanting to switch over to E&E Elf. Now, as you all know, I am definitely not one to hop on a bandwagon and, kind of follow the masses, because E&E Elf has been one of those things that I've been promising you guys that I would bring content on. But there's no denying it. It is the best boss damage dealing class in the entire game as of the current state. Now, will it get patched in the future? Who knows? But at the same time, do we really want it to be patched? Because yes, it is still good in PvP, but it is not always the best in PvP. But when it comes down to anything core related, whether it's the Demon Ruler raid or the conquest battles, it is definitely hard to contend with this class, and I think that that's what is pushing everybody to start participating and pulling this. Getting back to the content itself, you can kind of see I'm constantly going through and I'm checking to see what these bosses are looking like, how I can start pushing some of my guys to take over some of these. We always do a pre-match discussion on how we need to handle these. But I'm also always going through and trying to maintain a Discord presence with a few people that will be doing call outs for me to make sure that we are all positioning ourselves where we need to be. Um, we are starting to get a dedicated person that their whole job is going to be jumping in and doing damage on our main boss, but at the same time focusing solely on monitoring what bosses have the lowest damage so that we can communicate that in our corpse chat and push players over there to start making our presence at that boss, and then allowing um, room for myself to come in and boost that damage up to a point to where we may be able to win more of these. But as of right now, that's still a work in progress. So we are still kind of working to see how all of that is going to play out for the future. Um, Still going through on trying to figure out where I can fit in. As you can see there on that left-hand mirror image, we've got an opportunity to make a play. So we are going to do just that. Um, we've positioned ourselves at a point to where we're getting overran. We're having to spend these diamonds to be able to stay competitive because we just don't have the numbers, nor do we have the damage to compete with all of these other much larger core that are within this season. Um, I do still feel like it was structured very strangely and didn't really give a whole lot of freedom when it came down to being able to really build this to your own without, a lot of investment. Of course, you want to have competition, so you don't want to have everybody um, that is on top in your core, but at the same time, you don't want to be left at the back of the bus with no one. So being able to structure your guild properly to match up the numbers so that you're not, exceeding, what the cap is on your members for your core or your CP is going to be huge. Now I know that this is still the first season. There's a lot of bugs to be worked out. There's a lot of information that hasn't been really clarified on. So I'm still trying to get all of that updated. Um, but yeah, it has definitely been an experience. Very, very fun. I think that the season is going to close out on May 5th, which should be when our arena season also closes out entirely uh, right after finals. And then we will be able to start taking a quick little relaxing break from this for a day or so before we start kicking off into our next season and being able to jump in and try to do this all over again with a fresh mindset and a better understanding of how all of this is going to play out. I'm curious to see that if it's going to be the same servers that we're matched up with, or if it's going to be something completely new and they're cycling through all of the ones that we could potentially be in. Um, but hopefully, we get some new faces, we get some new competition. Because again, I feel like some of this is a little unbalanced, but it's hard to really find a good balance in this game already. So I would like to refer to us in our core of World Conquest as the underdogs. We have two good CP players, but never going to be able to really hit that top spot and keep it. But I think it's going to be something that we can aspire to achieve, right? So everybody wants to push themselves harder and harder and harder to overcome all of these whales and these bigger guys. I know for a lot of you free-to-play players and low spenders, you look at me and it's like, well, Delusions, you're a whale. And it's like, well, not technically. The majority of the investment that I have put into this game has gone back to make content for you guys. So as you see players like the Alvarado, or you're looking at Kenzo or MJH or No Mercy, they have been dedicated to their specific class and building that up for themselves, um, without having to worry about swapping through all of these different classes and doing constant rebuilds to make videos and guides. That a lot of that investment that I have, may as well put me at the equivalent of a VIP 8 or a 9. Um, and it's not to say that, I'm not strong, because I am, but my potential that I could have been would have been far, far greater had I just solely stuck to one class. But then again, where's the fun in that? Because then I wouldn't be able to answer the questions that you guys have, or be able to provide the information that you guys need to be seeing in the compendium or any other guides that I push out to you. So it's all worth it in the end, but going back, I probably would have done things just a tad bit different. I was a little bit reckless in the beginning. Um, so please keep in mind, if you've got questions and if you're concerned on, maybe I'm progressing the wrong way, or I may need a little bit of clarification on how to do something better, that you reach out to me, because again, I'm here to help. Um, and I'm hoping that by being able to transition and stretch my avenues out a little bit and start being able to live stream for you guys during some of these events or some dedicated times. Or who knows, maybe I might not have time to do it, but I'm going to try for you guys for sure. Um, but I've also been thinking about creating a membership type program. I've seen a lot of different YouTubers through my research and stuff trying to better the channel and trying to structure it um, more solidly, to kind of help benefit some of you. Um, and I'm curious to hear your feedback. Do you think that if I was to make a membership program and say do, dedicated live streams for my members only, or if I was to do hands-on one-on-one personal videos for your specific class or with your character, how would you feel about that? Is that something that you would be interested in seeing or participating in? Be glad to hear your feedback on it, because again, I want to be able to help and support as much as I can, but we all know that my plate is full already, so I'm trying to chisel out time to be able to make all of this work. And if you guys just let me do all of this aimlessly, then there's really no telling where it's all going to end up. But I'm excited for the new changes to the YouTube, um, and hopefully it's something that you guys are too. Hopefully it's easier to kind of navigate through some of the videos and figure out, what you need to be focusing on. I also did put a featured subscribers of the channels that I personally like checking in on with some other MU Dark Epoch players, such as the Alvarado and No Mercy, as well as Super Proxy. Would love to be able to talk with him through some of my stuff, as well as through some of his stuff, and potentially be able to collaborate and work together in the future. But it's been a little tough to get in touch with him. But for all of my Brazilian players out there, Chaser BR is one of the subscribers that you'll find on there. Please give his videos a like. Super great guy. A lot of helpful information there for your community. And I know that he will be more than happy to kind of push you guys over the top. For all of you hardcore ENE DL fanatics like I am, check out Limitless. He's a VIP 15, one of the best ENE Dark Lord players that I have seen so far. And he's always looking to try to help people. Again, another great guy to talk to. But with all that being said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be providing the support and the help that I can to make sure that you guys are taken care of no matter what. Which kind of brings me back to the compendium. For all of you that don't know yet, that is the massive full game guide that I am working on. I need your help. If you've got information that you think would be relevant or would be good to see in there, reach out to me on Discord. Leave me a comment saying, hey, look, man, I've got a great idea. I'd be happy to hear it, because I want to be able to make sure that all of the new players that we have coming in, as well as the returning and the existing players, can have a central location to be able to find the information that they need, to really push them. But this kind of brings us to the end of all of this. So if you have questions, please let me know. And with that, thank you guys again, all of you, for everything that you have done for myself as well as the channel. And with that, I am Delusions, and I am out. Take care.
So raise your sword high, let's claim our fame. With every boss fallen, we'll carve our name.